Suppose n is a positive integer less than 100 and the decimal representation of 1 out of n terminates. So that means it does not end with a recurring decimal. Then find the sum of all the possible values of n. So what they're telling us to find is all the values of n, where 1 out of n, if you write it as 1 out of n, it would be a terminating decimal. So that's what it means. So then if we assume that n is an even integer, so I am assuming that if suppose that probably the even integers would give terminating values for 1 out of n. So you see half works, half is 0.5, 1 out of 4 is 0.25. However, it doesn't work for 1 out of 6 because it gives you 0.16 recurring. Then 1 out of 8 is fine, 1 out of 16 works, 1 out of 64 is also non-recurring, and then if you do 1 out of 96, it's even, it's a multiple of 4, it's a multiple of 2. However, it doesn't work, it gives you a recurring decimal. So what this tells me is that if n equals 2 or the powers of 2, 2 squared, 2 cubed, 2 to the power 4, 2 to the power 5, or 2 to the power 6, then 1 out of n would terminate. So if you did 2 to the power 5 would be 1 out of 32, and you see the answer would be 0, so right, sorry, 1 out of 32. So 1 out of 32 would be 0.03125, and if we did 1 out of 64 already, so we can't go beyond because we've only been asked to find numbers that are less than 100, so we don't go beyond. So then if you look at what about the other integers, if it's a multiple of 3, it will definitely not work. What about 5? And you will see it does work for 5, because 1 out of 5 is 0.2. And then 1 out of 5 squared is 0.04. So we can't do 5 cubed because again it's greater than 100. So then if you look at n equals 10, it would work 10, 20, 40, 50 and 80. If it works for 8, it will work for 80, 50 again because it works for 1 out of 5, and 10 and 20. And so we do the sum of all the possible values of n, and they would be, so it would be 2 plus 4 plus 8 plus 16 plus 32 plus 64 plus 5 plus 25 plus 10, 20 plus 20 plus 40 plus 50 plus 80, and also 1 out of 1. So n can also be 1. So I did just that, and you would get the answer as 357.